A lot of times we take it for granted. We just always had sliced bread, but I can remember when we didn't. My mother would have a loaf of bread and she never could slice it straight. And it was kind of an issue at our house. Dad would say, "Mabel, why can't you slice that bread straight?"
It all started here, right here in Chillicothe in 1928. July 1928, sliced bread was first introduced to the public.
It all starts with the inventor, whose name was Otto Rowedder. His life's ambition was to build a sliced bread machine. And he spent about 15 years developing a prototype machine, and in about 1915, that prototype burned in a fire and his life's work was destroyed. About that same time, a doctor told him that he had a disease that he only probably had about a year to live, and they told him to get his affairs in order. He didn't go with that. He continued with his sliced bread machine, built a second prototype.
And he had the passion to follow through, and it took him about 12 years later, and he finally came up with a new prototype, a new bread slicing machine. He took it all over the country, and bakers said, "It won't work, it won't work." But he was convinced that it will work.
After the machine was ready to go, Mr. Rowedder needed a bakery to try it out. And our bakery, the Chillicothe Bakery, was owned by a man named Frank Bench. And the Chillicothe Bakery wasn't doing very well at the time. It had had some problems, and so Mr. Bench had nothing to lose here. And so he talked to Mr. Rowedder about the Chillicothe Bakery being the first bakery to use sliced bread.
The baker really thought that there was big potential here because he took out a full-page ad. And not only did it say that he was going to be having sliced bread, but it even illustrated how the loaf of bread was going to be packaged and how there were pins inserted, and it just gave a step-by-step instruction for the housewife to, buy the bread and open it up and how to serve it.
Have any idea what was going on, what they were doing at the bakery, but one day we turned the corner and started downtown, and lo and behold, there was a great big canvas sign that wrapped around the biggest part of the building that was announcing that bread was being sliced. And at the time, my brother was with me, and I still didn't get the impact of what had happened or what was happening.
Within the first week or two, sales at our bakery went up like 2,000%.
And then to go see these slices that were coming out of this machine, that was just phenomenal. And soon afterward, we gave it no thought. You bought sliced bread, period.
From then on, it was, the housewife really went for the sliced bread. It was good to, for kids to just go in and get a slice of bread and make a sandwich and peanut butter or whatever we had, and it was really not only a novelty, it was a necessity, really, at our house anyway.
It gives you a sense of pride that a little town like this would come up with a bread slicer and be the first. Yep, was real proud of what had happened.
Where would we be without sliced bread? Essentially, sliced bread is in every home. And something about sliced bread is that it relates to every kind of a person. Sliced bread is just a part of daily life. And boy, it sure makes life simpler.
I've been asked the question, could something be better than sliced bread? And it seems to me, if something were really better than sliced bread, whatever that particular product or thing was, that people would say, well, this is the best thing since that product. Since they don't, I have to conclude that sliced bread is still the best of all time.
Could anything be better than sliced bread? I guess we'll have to see.